I'm going to do a little shop update here. A couple of things have been going on this week that I want to show you. One is that I built let me call it a reel toggle. If you've seen reels that cable come on, electrical cable, or in this case it's a cable, like cable television cable. Some of it's fiber optic, other is hardwired cable, or the reels that hold the tie wire, let's call it tie wire guide cables. They have trucks. I have a cable company down the street from me. They have trucks and they have little trailers that carry the reels of cable on them on a bar. But for some reason this guy wanted a toggle built that would go into the hole at the end of the side of the cable and be able to pick it up with a jib crane on a truck or a crane or some kind of lifting ring. So what I did is I built a little toggle that would go into the hole, expand out so that it would catch the sides of the reel, and they would be able to pick it up that way. So I'm just going to shoot that for you, or show you that. I'm not going to show you a lot of that build, but some of it, my idea of what I could use to do it with. And one of the other things is that I had to change one of the rotors and calipers on my truck. So I'm going to show you a little bit of that because we had an issue getting the rotor off of the thing, a real big issue getting the rotor off of it. Probably it's a problem indicative with states in the north that use salt. The rotor was kind of rusted onto the hub, so it was a real issue getting it off, and I'll show you that solution. There's a possibility that I might make a clip of that and put it up as a separate video just so that people searching how to get rotors off will be able to see it. Last Sunday I made a trip to Pittsburgh. I didn't film any of it. What I ended up having to do was help move a steel warehouse. So the guy bought a guy that I know bought a franchise, Metal Supermarkets. He bought the Pittsburgh location, and after he bought it, the guy that owned the building that he was part of the lease, or he leased the space from, sold the building. So he ended up having to move. It wasn't a bad thing because it wasn't a great location to begin with, or a great building. I'm not going to say it wasn't a great location. Just the way the building was situated in position with the street, it was hard to get to. It's hard to get trucks with steel in, to bring steel in, or get trucks or trailers in there to take long pieces out of it. So his new building is a lot better off, so he's got a lot of overhead doors and good access to the place. So I helped him move on Sunday. I went down there on a Sunday and helped him move. So I'm just going to show you a brief clip of me going down. I didn't shoot any of the moving. It was kind of chaotic, but so I didn't show you any of that. And I might end up having to go again this week, so weekend, maybe Saturday. So but there's the clip of me going down there on Sunday morning. So that's some of the things that'll be in the video. I'm going to be building a little toggle hook to fit in the hole in the side of a cable reel so that they can pick it up with a crane or something on the side. A couple of doors down from me, there's a cable company. It's not a cable company directly. It's one of those companies that run bulk cable wire for cable providers. So they have a lot of reels with fiber optic cable and regular cable and stuff like that on it. So they have trailers that you can back up to one of them big cable spools and pick it up on the trailer and reel it off that way. But the guy wants one like a toggle that can go into the side hole of the wooden cable reel, or I think actually some of them are plastic now. They have a 3-inch hole in the side of them. So he wants something that can go in and toggle in there and be able to pick up the cable roll horizontally. Let's call it horizontally. So what he was looking for, they actually sell them, and they want like $300 for them or something like that. It's just something on the top that's got an eyelet that you can put a hook into from a like a gantry crane or a jib crane off the back of a truck, or something like that. So what it would do, and what this would do, is be sandwiched in here, and this would be drilled in through there. There would be a plate on here so that it couldn't pivot all the way. And this thing would pivot down like that after you got it in, and you could pick it up. There would be an eyelet up here or something to be able to pick it up. And then you could just reach back down through and push that back over and pull it out. So I am going to be building something like that. I can't use this piece of steel because it's not a regular piece of carbon steel. It's actually tool steel. You see where it's broke, and it wouldn't be good to weld. So I'm going to go down. I've got to go out. I've got to find a socket for those lug nuts because my tool guy isn't due until Friday, and I want the socket before then. So I'm going to go out, get a socket, and I'm going to stop down the metal supply house and get a piece of like 1/2 by 3/8 inch bar stock. Probably pick up some drops down there while I'm there. But anyways, I'll bring you back. Okay, so I needed to cut a small strip out of a 1/4 inch plate, and I really didn't have any good piece of 1/4 inch plate, so what I had is this piece of stock, and I put it in lengthwise in the bandsaw, parallel, not perpendicular to the blade, to cut a strip off of it, which is really nice because I'd never been able to do that with the old bandsaw. But let me show you. Here we go. I should have set the feed rate a little higher. Well, that wasn't good.
It jammed up. Let me get that.
There it is. It didn't do anything. It just jammed on against the blade because it was so short, but it came up pretty straight. Okay, so what I did is I cut the two pieces, bottom piece or side piece, whatever you want to call it. Drill the holes in it so that it lined up, and what it's going to do is, this is the thing that's going to go down through it. So what it'll do is it won't allow it to spin back out of it, because that's going to be like a stop. And then it'll fold back up into it. So what I'll do is I'll cut another piece of that 3/8 square stock, run it up this side, and then cut a piece over here. And then what I'll do is I'll just sandwich this on top of it so that it goes down through, so this thing can spin out and then fold back up so you can pull it back out of the hole. But I'll bring you back as I progress. Okay, so here is that reel pick toggle type thing. What it does is you stick that down through the hole, and hopefully I can go out and try it on a reel here. I'm gonna let it cool off a little bit. But so it folds back up, stick it back down in the hole, get that thing just spread open. You're probably gonna have to use something stick or something to spread it open, and then something to pull it up again with once you've got it. But there it is. Okay, in the video, in that clip, I told you that I would bring it back and show you trying to put it in the reel. I actually took it out, tried to get it in, or put it in the reel. As I said in the video, you've got to take something to kind of push that toggle portion of it back, the pivot part of it back after you get it locked in. Or actually, even to lock it in, you've got to take something and kind of push it over so that it spreads out, and then take something and push it over so that it folds back up again so that you can pull it out through the hole. But what happened is the guy was there when I tried it. He wanted to take it with him and just make sure that it worked okay, so he took it, so I didn't really get a chance to film it. But anyways, it did work. It spread out. Hopefully it'll be strong enough. It was heavy enough. It seemed heavy enough. It'll be strong enough to lift the reels full of cable up that way. What I'm going to do now is insert the clip about me driving down to Pittsburgh. Again, I didn't film any of the loading of that steel. I didn't mention this, but it's Sunday. I'm on my way down to Pittsburgh. A guy that I know owns a metal supply warehouse, and he has a location in Pittsburgh, and he needs help moving from his current location to a new building. Well, not a new building to him, but a different building. So I'm on my way down. It's probably around 7 o'clock in the morning. Sun's just coming up, 79. I'm probably about, I don't know, maybe 40 miles outside of Pittsburgh. But anyways, I just thought this would probably be a good intro into it. I'm not going to really film a lot. I'm not really sure how this is going to transpire. They're going to load steel on my trailer, and I'm just going to go. I've been told it's a short distance. From the existing warehouse to the new warehouse is a short distance, 5 miles or less maybe. So I'm not really sure how this is going to transpire. I've been to the old warehouse. It's not an easy place to get in and out of, and sure it's not going to be an easy place to load 24-foot lengths of steel onto the trailer. So we'll see how it goes. Maybe I'll be able to shoot some of it. Okay, what I'm going to do now is insert some small clips about me having to change the rotor and caliper on my truck. And again, I'm not going to insert a lot of it. There's probably, we just left the camera running, the other camera running on the tripod, and it's probably a good hour's worth of video, and I'm not going to bore you to death with that. But what happened was, let me just explain. Again, northeast, salt in the wintertime, that rotor was stuck onto that hub, and we couldn't get it off. I mean, we pulled the tire off, pulled the caliper off, and we probably beat on that rotor for a good close to an hour, and it would not come. Sprayed it with PB Blaster, we could not get it loose. So what we ended up doing was taking a block of wood and inserting it between the frame rail and the rotor, and using the power steering to turn into that block of wood. And I would hold the steering wheel so that it was putting a lot of pressure onto the block of wood, and he took a hammer and hit the opposite side directly across from where the block of wood was pressing, and that rotor popped right off. Now let me just say this. After we couldn't get that thing off, I tried to research it. First I Googled it, and then I went to YouTube and tried to research it. And nowhere in my research did they ever come up with that block of wood idea. I came up with everything else in the world on how to remove the hub and how to do this and how to do that, but nothing on the rotor, even though that was my question, was about the rotor. When I Googled or YouTubed it even, it came up with everything but the rotor. So I'm probably gonna take the video of where I actually do it and make a separate video and post it on my site and tag it, so if people are looking to get a rotor unstuck, they know how to do it. What? Oh. Did you tell me that?
Yeah. You went over there to look for it.
No, went over there to look for the light.
So the brake was sitting inside there.
So the tab wore off?
Oh, the whole brake wore off.
Yeah,
Really.
yeah.
But yeah, it was sitting. So all that grinding was from the brake was getting lodged.
The gearbox, or the steering gearbox has got to be.
Ready? Yep.
You want me to rotate it? What you
Yeah.
do?
That's cool. Listen to this. Set up for the other side.
So, waiting for the camera to light adjust, and I can't tell when it does it, but hopefully it did it. I'm not going to bore you with the rest of that. Like I said, there was probably over an hour of video, but at one point in time we were actually beating on it with a sledgehammer. I think you could have seen him, you saw him move the sledgehammer out of the way when we got towards the end there. But it came off. Again, I'm not going to bore you with any of it. I'm going to try and put together a video and post it on. Hopefully I can tag it hopefully I can tag it so that it gets picked up by people that want to actually get the rotor off and not the hub, like I found. But one of the things that you might have seen in the video on when I was welding, I had this light laying there. I had to go over to the welding store and pick up some gas for the MIG welder. And when I was there, I saw this light, and it's pretty good because it's pretty cool. It's got an inspection mirror on it, and it's magnetic. The mirror is a magnet onto the that base, and the whole base will come off. But what is really cool about it is it telescopes. And not only does it telescope, the end flexes, so you can get it in. I think I paid 20 bucks for it. No, I didn't look at it. It's probably made in China or someplace, but I mean, pretty cool. I'll use it. You know them hard to reach bolts, or those hard to see bolts that are down in the engine bay between the firewall and the block? Great tool for it. But anyways, that's the end of this. Hit that like button. Subscribe.